All right, good morning, everyone.
Here we go.
Call the Tourist Development Council meeting to order for November 9th. Let's see, invocation and pledge.
If y'all will join me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for the chance to meet. We thank you for letting things go for the benefit of why we're here. Lord, we thank you for sparing us bad things from the storm. We thank you for all the blessings you give us here in Citrus County. We thank you, Lord, for blessing our military and our local first responders. Keep them all safe. Again, we just thank you for the opportunity to still be in free land, free country, free state. It's in Jesus' name we thank you and ask these things. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
All right, we have present is Holly Davis, Mike Ingalls, Cindy Guy, Jackie Hepburn, Dr. Fresh Desai, Michael Mankey,
Good job.
Michael Schmidt, Jean McGee. Absent is Ash Scott.
All right, looking for a motion for approval of agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, we don't need to do a supple one on 4A, so approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Open to the public. Anyone? Anyone?
Bueller?
Guess I don't have to take a number.
We go fast here.
Your number is one.
Unlike Tuesdays.
Good. My name is Bud Osborne. I live in Inverness, and I'm here representing Too Far Water Conservation group that meets in Inverness. We've been around about 40 years. Many times groups apply for grants, be it police, the county, fire, city. They apply to the state for grants. Some get them, some don't. If they get them, sometimes you never know what happens with them. Too Far applied for a grant to clean up our lakes. We got the grant. We're trying to do something a little bit different. We want to tell you what we're doing with your money. We're going to be coming here on a regular basis to tell you where we're spending it, when, why, how, what our progress is. There are also plans to let you come and visit what we are doing so you can see how it is going. We applied for a $4.2 million grant and got it. There are a lot of places in the county that applied, did not get the grants. What our plans are to clean up the lakes. Well, why is this guy Bud here to talk about lakes and not tourists? Yes, we have manatees, we have scallops, we have boats, we have fishing. We also have 15 precious lakes. The lakes over the year have been crudted up with vegetation, various pollutants, and those sandy bottom lakes that used to be a big attraction for fishermen from all over, it's not the attraction it is. You people want to fill hotel rooms, you people want to fill seats in restaurants. It also can be done with the lakes. What I'm going to do is give you a little background of what we have planned so far. First off, many times when people get into a project, they run that project. I don't know how to clean a lake. You don't know how to clean a lake. We're in the process of hiring and have just hired a project manager to do that. Highly educated, had been a school teacher, has worked with other water-related programs, was one of the founding people to save our waters. That person's going to take care of monitoring what work is done, when it's done, to make sure that we get the bills to us. We can get them to DEP so they can write the check, go back to the contractors. So that part of getting a project manager is done. To get a company to do the work and do it in accordance with all that's needed, you need approval from DEP, Swift Mud, SPCA, WPA, ABC, and LMNOP to get the work done. DEP and Swift Mud have given us a list of contractors that are certified to do the work. We've reviewed those, we've narrowed it down, we haven't quite finished up, but we've pretty well got the contractor set up for that. We also want to include the people that live on the waterways. We're a program where we've gotten with Swift Mud and they've gotten us the address of all of the people that live on the water. Sending them a letter, letting them know what we're doing and why we're doing it. We're just not all of a sudden pulling equipment up to your dock and you not knowing why. To get this work done took a lot of work before we got started. We have between 6 and 12 feet of muck in some of these lakes. We've got a 23-acre area plus one lagoon that we're working on to clean up first. That's not much considering there's 15 lakes. But it's going to have to be one of those things, one step at a time. Hopefully, we'll make enough progress when the new ability to put in for next year's grant comes around. We'll have enough to throw at Tallahassee to get it done again. Hopefully, we can get on some reoccurring type of program with them. Like I said before, we're going to try to get city council people, county commissioners, you, and many others that are involved to come see what we're doing. It's going to take a while. Timing is of an essence, but we don't have dates for so much we do because we're relying on so many different agencies. But I just want to come here and let you know that we're going to keep you posted where your money's going. $4.2 million is just not a drop in the bucket. It's a sufficient amount of money. And we feel that when we do this, we can help you. Well, what does water have to do with tourism? You got fishing, you got scalloping, you've got manatees, you got hotels, you got restaurants. We clean these lakes up, we'll go back to the status we used to have for fishing in these lakes. 15 of them to be worked on. We're going to do our best for what we can. State didn't do it. County didn't do it. Nobody was going to do it. We're going to do it. Thank you. Have any questions? Get a hold of me. I'll try to help you.
Do you have a business card on you by chance?
I'll get you one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Anybody want to respond?
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just one thing, but to your point, we just hosted the Dragon Boat Festival. I'm on the Education Foundation. We had the Dragon Boat Festival over there in the lake. 6,000 people, 1,200 in boats. That's not counting the people who came to watch them or family that came with them. It's the largest Dragon Boat Festival in the country now. And so, to your point, the lakes can be used for tourism. Absolutely. I would also tell you, my other hat is I'm the lobbyist for the county. If you're going to go back next year for funding, we need to talk because I'm developing the legislative agenda for them to review and approve and all that now. So if you need more money, then we need to talk about that sooner rather than later.
Since you're in that mode, it's a challenge to you. All of you form a team, get your own dragon boat, get out there. I got one. I belong to Shatoma.
Two of
We
them.
put the money up, got a dragon boat. I came home with the gold medal.
There you go.
I'm almost 85. I've never been near a dragon boat before, so it can be done. Something people think of. We get some of the political leaders in our community in the boats. It might help.
My wife and I are committed to selling T-shirts after 3 years, and that's what we do. So.
Well, I'm
We sell
planning.
the T-shirts.
I'm planning to. Hopefully, I was going to do it this year, but maybe next year have my company spread out all over the country. Have them actually fly in and get a boat would be good.
Such a good event.
But Bud, to your point, I don't know when I first heard of Too Far. It may have been when I was campaigning, and it totally captured my imagination because I grew up on Crystal River, and I heard stories of what it was like in the 60s before I got here in the 70s. And then I went away and I came back and I saw how incredibly degraded my beloved river was. It was horrific. And then to see what it's like now, I want that for the lakes. I absolutely want that for the lake. So I will use whatever little influence I have as a commissioner to push that forward. And I really appreciate your time in coming here to brief us. And I do want to, I'm a pretty hands-on person. I would love to come see what you're doing.
Can I have 2 more minutes?
We already gave you.
Have 3.
Actually, what I was going to say is, from an administrative standpoint, do we only give people 3 minutes? Because I kind of feel like we could follow the same as the commission. If they have a letter on file with the county from an organization, they get 5. I already gave you 6.
It's totally up to you. Give people as much time as you want.
I know, but I do understand, Commissioner. Well, I guess he still is Chair Kitchens. Pardon? Yeah, are you sticking around for the end? Yeah. Okay, you can speak then. That way maybe you might get some more thoughts. So, anyone else for open to the public? All righty, close that portion. No presentations or yes?
Yes, but unfortunately, you have to listen to me for all of them.
Now, why is that unfortunate here?
No, I don't know. And I don't happen to have a business card on me either. It's crazy, but here's my contact info.
And you say you're in marketing.
I know. I'm so over there trying to quietly dig through my bag. They should be in there. Lord only knows. I'm going to blame pregnancy brain. So the first order of business here for presentations is a show that has come to us called RV There Yet. And unfortunately, I know, I love it. And unfortunately, they're filming today, so they weren't able to join us, but it is a very similar ask to what we do with all of our fishing shows, but instead highlighting the different RV parks and attractions for those traveling in RVs. I'm sure, Mike, you're very happy to hear something like that. Brittany from Hayworth and I have been working diligently to try and find a good RV opportunity. And this one popped up while Terry and I were at ICAST, and we jumped on it and have been working with them. So, vibrated. It's never done that before. So, Kevin and Patrice have been doing these outdoorsy shows for 31 years, whether that be behind the scenes or on camera. So, they bought an RV in 2004 and they absolutely loved the lifestyle. So, they've been kind of on the road ever since. And then during the pandemic, they began working on a TV show, which is on Discovery as well as Motor Trends. And it did really great in its first season, which was last year. And so they're expecting it to do even better next year. And we have some stats a little later on. So the production team, it's mostly Kevin and Patrice, since they do have the experience both in front of and behind the scenes, but of course they've got a few other people there with them. And then they do have their commercials, like the different products that they plug in for the shows, but they also work really well with different destinations. Like they did Fort DeSoto was one of their best rated shows. And so they went down, parked at Fort DeSoto, got to go cycling for the sunset, and just really highlighted beautifully that destination. But they do go across the U.S. It is not just Florida. They are based there in Tampa, though. They do have social media and website, and one of the great things about them is that they have a newsletter subscription, and if we do buy into it, we will get all of those email addresses as well. So that's a great benefit for us as well. Again, they've been kind of all over, and they do the trade shows. So we met them at ICAST, and then they came. We also saw them again when we were at the RV show there in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So they're definitely all over, hitting those outdoorsy markets in a variety of ways. Let's see. So they post all of their shows there onto YouTube, which is great because, of course, then you can stream it whenever you want. You're able to show anybody, but then they also have the regular cable shows and streaming shows. And do we have the one pager there, Christina, as well? So this will get a little bit more into the numbers for them. Well, that's
Can you
small.
see that?
I cannot.
Yeah, I'll change it.
Is it in our packet? No.
Yep.
It is in the
That's all
packet.
folks in the-
22 of 84.
It is in the packet.
22 of 84.
There we go. Yes. So
22.
again, last year was their first season. They were on Discovery Motor Trend, and that one was a short season, being that it was their first one. So they only had 13 episodes. But because it performed so well, they will be transitioning to the 26 episodes coming this season. So the broadcast network's Discovery Channel, which has the 88 million households, Motor Trends with 66 million national. And then they stream, which streaming was another area where we wanted to focus on, for Amazon Prime, Roku, YouTube, Facebook, Sling TV, and Fubo TV. So a lot of those are very common ones, very popular ones, but then you also have, it's okay, I think we can read it well enough. And then you also have some that are preloaded onto many of those TVs, like the Roku channel or the Fubo TV. So what they're asking is for $20,000. They will come to our area and do a full episode. So what they'll do is they'll stay in 2 separate locations while they're here. Our goal is to have one be a more RV park, and then one be more of an outdoor rural area, like the state forest or something like that. They do the RV camping at Tillis Hill, so something like that. That's what they try to do, is show the 2 sides of the coin there. And then, so yes, 2 parks featured in 1 episode. They'll go to 3 different local attractions. So they love to cycle, so we definitely will get them to hit the trail while they're here. Swimming with the manatees, because they're hoping to come in February, and then we can find a 3rd activity for them as well while they're visiting. Let's see, we get all of the raw footage and photos that they film for the episode, so that'll be great for advertising for RVs later on when that comes, because they do have a really great production value. And that website subscriber email database is good, especially with the destiny of the cookie up in the air, so it's always good to get as many of those as we can. And then they will also do features on social media as well. They're open to payment schedules or all up front. The plan is to just do the upfront $20,000 and funnel that through Madden, like we generally do for these kind of purchases. And that $20,000 would come from our special projects fund. Any questions?
You said they were going to come in February to film. What's the lag, and what would you expect the air date to be as far as marketing the area?
We will be the very end of their filming season, so I believe it's like 3 or 4 months after would be when they would start airing, but it is a 26-week, so I don't know what order they're going to be in, if they'll broadcast in the order that they filmed, or if they'll kind of jump around, do a Florida segment, do a out west segment. So it just depends, but we are at the end of the filming, and then the air date should start 3 to 4 months after that.
So February, so it would be May or June, and then run for half a year.
Yes. Because they are doubling their season this year. They started with 13 last year, but because the Nielsen, I don't see it up there, but the Nielsen rating for their show was 1.7 million views, I believe. So that was fantastic for a show's first season.
Killer brand name.
I love it.
So, first I'm going to say I love this, that we ought to spend the 20,000. It's a great idea because of what RVs bring into our community, into this committee, into our county. It's a great idea. My perception is that the RV parks are full all the time. Is that true?
No.
Not true. So, like
Last
I know
year,
hotels,
yes.
like we never fill up hotel rooms. We could advertise all day long and never fill up our hotel rooms. My perception is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that our RV parks are full. So my question is kind of, are they full? Are we building more RV parks? Are we building more? Because I want to do this,
Right.
but if we're full all the time, we don't need to like spend millions of dollars advertising
Well,
RV
we're not
spots.
full all the time. We are,
Okay.
and we're still advertising all the time too, because just it's like a shoulder season here too. You know,
Okay.
there's still Wednesday traffic is a lot less than Saturday. You know,
Okay.
So you still have that, and then the seasonals. You know, you're not going to find a room anywhere in the county or a site in February.
Right.
Now, you want one in December or March? Sure.
Okay.
But in February, yeah, probably not, because everybody's coming down at that point and wanting to be here for 30, 60, 90, even 6 months.
Okay.
And so that February gets sucked up real fast because it's right in the middle of where everybody wants to be.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
I mean, we could spend our money on advertising car washes. God knows they're
Yeah.
going to need it. I mean,
Yeah.
but if we need to do it, then let's.
Yeah, it's a
amen,
good
let's
thing.
do
It
it.
really is. Everybody's doing expansions wherever they can.
They
And,
like this. I mean, this is a good show. People
Oh,
watch
yeah,
it. Obviously, there's a
absolutely.
bunch of views. So
I think so.
yeah, I like it. Okay,
We're giving away thousands of them.
that's enough for me.
And I think that we see less of the lack of vacancy over there on the east side, and that's something that we definitely plan to highlight through this one. Whether that be fishing on the lakes, they 100% want to hit the trail for cycling. So we've already spoken with the Cove because they've just opened up their RV spots as
Okay.
well. So there's definitely some opportunities there, especially there on the east side. And you know they can highlight that they're not far. You know, come stay in Inverness. You can do all these fun things, and then you can pop over to the west side
Right. Okay.
if you need be.
Yeah, the Cove is a beautiful location too.
And you've got food right there. You've got the airboat tours go right out of there. So there's a lot of options for entertainment. You're like 5 minutes from the trail, so
Yep,
5 minutes from downtown.
sounds good. All right. So, do we need a vote on that, or just okay? So, looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Give it to Mike. Of course, I'm moving.
Yeah, Mike deserves this one.
I'm moving it, absolutely.
You do it.
I did. So moved.
All right. So,
There you go.
a motion by Mr. Shoemaker. All right, second by this guy.
Shaking things up.
All right. Any further discussion? Any public comment? All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Woohoo.
FWC Annual Education Event.
Me again.
Damn.
I know. You have 4 things, and I've got my own presentation. So the FWC annual education event, unfortunately, we didn't get the backup for that one yet, but basically it is very similar to what we did with the clerk of courts and some of the other statewide organizations that come here to do their annual events. What we would be doing is giving $1,500 from the Special Projects Fund, again, also to be funneled through Madden, and it would help to enhance one of the events while they're here for their educational kind of conference, the same way we did with the clerk of courts and things like that. And the event that they would be using the money for would highlight some of the different attractions and things to do in the area to help let the different FWC members that are there for the event know and make them want to come back and visit again.
When's the event?
That we haven't got the backup.
December?
Christina, do you have that one? Okay,
December
December 6th.
Perfect. I should have brought that paper up with me.
December 6th through the 9th.
Yeah, I think our mayor, is giving up his property to put up tents, and, we're gonna have what are we doing out there? A big barbecue they're doing, and, the city is stepping forward for FWC, cause we really wanna work well with FWC, so we're having
Of
a
course.
big deal with them, so,
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the expenditure of
I'm gonna
1,500.
make the
Yes,
motion
ma'am.
to approve.
So moved.
Oh, she already did it.
She seconded it.
Dynamic duo already.
Okay.
Well, they were
Guys gotta be
quiet
quicker
that
than
time.
Need to speak up. Okay. So who did the first?
Cindy.
All right, Cindy the first. Got it. Any further board discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. I need more coffee.
I bought a whole
I am
box.
not on my rhythm this morning. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. This was a very late night at the party last night.
Oh, sorry, Christina.
Oh,
All right. Me again. I'm John today. So for our tourism development tax, the December overview there, we can see we had a really great.
Like I said.
Oh no. We need napkins.
No, Jean's got it. Keep going.
Go ahead.
The increase was 18.5%, which is wonderful, of course. I'll pull the John and say, eventually it has to go down. That way, hopefully, we continue to have his good luck of him being wrong. And we'll see a small dip there in the capital reserve, and that would be because of what we spent the last go round. The year to date increase is the 27.8%. So we're still chugging along. Things have they've slowed down a bit, but we're still seeing pretty good increases year over year. And we'll continue with me. So one thing is, this will be my last time presenting to you guys as the social media coordinator because we do have Alyssa on board now. So I will be full-time media and content manager. So everybody, if you want to stand up real quick and just introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Hofelt, and I started here a little over 2 weeks ago. And I just want to say that everyone's been so warm and welcoming to me. It's really been wonderful. And I'm super excited to explore this beautiful area and create spectacular content to generate more visitors. So that's my goal.
And my apologies for, like I said, I'm not on my game this morning because it was a very late night
That's
coming back from
absolutely
Tampa.
fine.
Where are you from?
I'm from California.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Thousand Oaks. I lived in Ventura County,
Bless
which
you.
is about an hour north of Los Angeles. And I drove here with my little dog about just 2.5 months ago. And I just want to say that I had already reserved my Airbnb in Crystal River before I even found out about this job.
Great.
Yeah, I had come and visited in May and June. I came to Florida for a vacation. And the last day, my friend and I went to Crystal River because there was a storm that blanketed the state except for Crystal River. It was the only place with sunshine. So we drove here, and I fell in love with it and then decided to move here.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I now live in Floral City.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Floral City is such a charming little burg.
It's lovely.
We need to do more with that and protect it all at the same time.
I just did a post on it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll love it. It's a really cute one.
And what is your first name again?
Alyssa.
Alyssa. Okay.
It's like Melissa, but without the M.
Yeah, I knew I could.
Yeah.
I remembered, but I wasn't quite sure what the spelling was. So, okay, awesome.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you.
Alyssa, I played a year of baseball at Moore Park Junior College.
Oh.
I lived in Camarillo.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Free Florida.
Yes, that was very close to where I live. Yeah, you know the area. Yeah.
You know, I almost brought my foam finger from last night.
Right.
It said Free Florida.
Right.
I have a question. Where did you stay for your short-term rental?
I stayed in an Airbnb
Yeah.
in Crystal River.
Where in Crystal River, do you know?
Gosh, it
You
was
gotta go
On the river?
Were you on the water?
Gotta go
It was
busting.
no, it was behind. It was in a
Brought you
very
coffee, you
beautiful
want some?
neighborhood.
I'm sorry.
It was behind the Publix.
Oh, that's
Um,
Metacrest.
So I don't know what.
Oh, that's out of City
You're not in
Limits.
Crystal River. You're okay.
I was told.
Are you
that
trying
it
to hunt
was-
them down, Cindy?
Yes, she
Okay,
is.
why I'm asking
Yes, she
is we
is.
don't allow short-term rentals in
It-
Crystal River. less
So it was
than,
outside
3
of the
months.
city limits,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're good.
Okay.
Good answer. Good answer.
No, I was told that it was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
Well, anyway,
Get 'em,
Welcome. Look forward to working with
Well,
you.
thank you.
We just spent money on
Right.
cracking down on short-term rentals. We gotta.
I love it.
You can't turn her into a tattletale her first meeting, Cindy.
Just did it.
That's
Oh.
okay. We've got a group that's tracking them down.
So, for my last social media report for you guys, the Facebook main page is at 190,000 followers, inching ever closer to that 200,000 mark. So, Alyssa, that'll be your new goal. And speaking of how adorable and wonderful Floral City is, Pudgy's got their new owners recently, and we shared one of the posts with some of their new menu items and old classics as well, and that was well received. People really loved it and thought that it looked delicious, and I can't help but agree with them. For the fishing page, 23,000 followers. Captain Tony has been on top for the last few weeks now with the fishing reports, and Alyssa's getting the lay of the land there for the different fishing reports. They are definitely, if you're not a fishing person, it is a wild ride. You learn so much. But Alyssa, you need to talk to Michael. He'll tell you everything you need to know about fishing.
Okay.
All right.
That's what he did for me. And then the Instagram reel Instagram has 27,730 followers. Again, getting closer to that 30,000 mark. That was my goal. Now your goal. And this was the reel that performed the best. Just a cute little guy. Nothing like a baby potato. And that one, I believe, was shot by Birds Underwater. So they always have really great content. For our follower comparison, we're still above the Amelia Island New Smyrna Beach, which they will all know. And now you'll know that you're never allowed to let them pass you, because that was my main goal, going and do it all. So we'll see. One day, maybe she'll even pass St. Augustine up there at the top. And for Facebook in September and October, we got 253 new followers, 150,000 3-second video views, which is great. And Alyssa's been working on even more video content for us, so I'm sure we'll see great stuff moving forward with that. And over 328,000 total accounts reached. Over there on Instagram, we had a little bit of an increase there in new followers. And the website taps is something that I've been working on, trying to drive them over there. So that link in bio, it's a little bit harder on Instagram than it is on Facebook to get them to convert over to the website, but it seems to be working fairly well.
How fast is Florida Historic Coast growing versus
Not
us?
as fast as us. So they usually grow.
It looks like that gap is closing.
It is, slowly but surely. And I'll said it once, I'll say it again. They're not doing themselves any favors being Florida Historic Coast.
Not
but,
at all.
So we usually grow around 300 a month, 300 to 600, just depending on whether we had something that went really big that month. And they tend to grow 100 to 200. Most of them in the category do. Except for Gainesville, they don't go they have a little bit more trouble there, but it wasn't football season there for a while, so that does them in. So it just depends, but generally the rest of them fall around 1 to 200 follower increase a month, and we're averaging about 300, so that's great. We're averaging probably closer to 400. And then over 101,000 impressions. For our fam tours coming up, the blue are Terry's that she had in the works. Both of them were from Brazil, we're definitely, I mean, that's been one of our emerging markets for a while now, and we're just seeing that interest grow and grow and grow, which is great. From what we hear from the travel agents there in Brazil, all that the South American market are super familiar with are like Disney in Orlando and Miami. And so they're really pushing that nature, get outside of Orlando. It's only an hour and a half away, and we're seeing that interest grow exponentially. So that's great.
Can I mention one thing just from SeaWorld's perspective? They say at Busch Gardens, we get a majority Brazilians, and in Orlando at SeaWorld, we get Europeans. So for some reason, they like Busch Gardens in Tampa and flying into Tampa. Brazilians by a much greater number than they do at SeaWorld in Orlando. So
Right.
whatever
I
that's
mean,
worth.
I think there is a pretty good Spanish-speaking community in Tampa as well, so that probably helps. And then they tend to be very adventurous.
Yeah.
So I think the roller coastery side of things is probably doing them good. For my side, we do have a Brazilian tour coming in over the weekend, and then we've had some German tours as well that since we submitted this have come back on board, seeing that things are okay since the hurricane. They've decided to rebook their trips. So there's actually a couple more coming in from Germany as well, which continues to be a very strong market for us, of course. And I guess I'll do Terry's too while I'm at it. Of course, we did the RV show up there in Hershey. Another big thanks to Mike for helping your staff helping take some of our stuff up there. I definitely could not have fit the giant stuffed manatee on the plane. So Terry hosted 17 travel agents there for the Virgin Atlantic holidays, as well as the FOA annual conference, which thank you, Commissioner, for coming to speak at that. And then the Visit Florida co-op training, Terry was actually able to do a presentation about how to sell the Crystal River area for the UK agents. So that was great. And I think it focused quite a bit on the restaurants and dining experience here, which is something that they haven't had too much exposure to in the past. So that's a good new facet of the community. And then the Florida Governors Conference, her and John were able to attend. And then, of course, now for October, they're over there at WTM in London selling away. All right. I think I'm done.
Wow.
Or an efficient meeting.
Thank you.
Even though I'm not coffeeed enough, although this helped, thank you. All right, where am I? We're done. All right, more or less.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Any other business?
Business record.
Public
Do we wanna-
again?
Do we want a
Public?
public hearing again?
That's after other
Okay,
business by
yeah,
council
okay.
members.
Did we want to say anything about the centennial events that you're planning? Yeah, you can talk from there if you want. You don't have to-
No, you do have to come out.
Okay.
It's got to be on the record.
Leslie is,
I want to hear a little.
she's doing a lot of stuff for our upcoming centennial event next.
Right, so the city is celebrating 100 years of becoming a township on July 3rd, 2023. So we're kicking off on March 25th and 100 days of celebration. So within that 100 days, we're just doing all kinds of different stuff. The kickoff event will be March 25th at the Pump House. That'll be a ticketed Decades Ball. And then my committee is represented with all kinds of organizations. So Save Crystal River Main Street, Historical Society. I know I'm missing a bunch of them, but we are working with the Historical Society. We're doing a pop-up museum at the Pump House that will be up, probably open on weekends for the 100 days. Our little Coastal Heritage Museum just reopened in downtown Crystal River. It had been closed for a while. And everything will culminate in our July 3rd centennial celebration, which will be our 4th of July fireworks as well. So we will not have them on the 4th. We will have them on the 3rd, which is a Monday. So there's all kinds of little events in there, cleanups with Keep Citrus County Beautiful, a poker run with Save Crystal River, and the list keeps growing every month as we meet. So
Awesome.
Good
I
stuff.
love this, and I love the 100-day theme. I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we're
Oh, and
excited.
I wanted to add too that now the pump house has been, all the concrete has been poured, so all the holes and all the equipment's been kind of removed except one piece. So it's really looking neat in there. We're gonna have open for people to do events in there.
That's awesome.
So it's looking really good.
Yeah, that should be ready starting in December.
And our first
Okay.
event there is gonna be our city Christmas party.
Correct.
So,
Well, the United Way fundraiser a year ago was fantastic there.
oh, but now it's
Great
that other
space.
side is completely
Yeah.
redone.
Yeah,
So
that's what
it's-
kind of spurred us to see what could be done in there. So
Yeah.
we've got the front of that space and you've got the back of that space as well, which can be tented to kind of expand. But now that we took all the equipment out, it's a really big, nice space in there. So
Yeah.
once I can get the flooring picked out and down, we'll post some pictures and get the marketing out there for it.
Did you leave any little bits of historical
We did.
stuff in there?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. There's one big engine in there still.
It's
Excuse
all
me.
the way to the side.
And then we've got little pieces of it that are going up
Wonderful.
throughout, as well as pictures too.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We're
really
excited.
cool. I'm really proud of you guys for pulling that off. I think you did a great job.
That was a good project. Yes, thank you.
So, Jean, you said go ahead. Sorry.
I thought we were just
Nope.
going to say.
Yes, we are.
We had our first country jam as opposed to rock and roll cover bands, and it was a major success. Looking at the people and the comments, we're already working on next year. And along RV Park, we've been discussing for the last couple of years, the city wants to put one when the 40, and of course we're at the mercy of FDOT, so I'll say no more about that. Where the Kmart shopping center red light is, we're gonna make that an entrance and have RV camping in Whisper and Pines. But that's, again, we wanted to do it about 3 years ago, and they're not doing, it's not progressing on the state side like we had hoped as far as the roads, but we are working on it.
But forestry is totally working with you. It's just FDOT
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
the
no, our
entrance.
staff's, I mean, we've got a plan, it's just getting to a point where we can start.
That reminds me, I need to do the tour that Eric offered me, Eric Williams, to run
Yes.
around on the golf cart.
Oh, you'll love it,
So,
you will love it. Well, we're
there's
moving
not enough for me
along.
to go around. You had wanted to
Yeah,
ask.
I just like to hear from the hoteliers and the people in the business how business is. I mean, I look forward to that every month at this meeting.
That reminds me too, John wanted me to say, we're still having our technical difficulties with the STAR report. But we tend to follow and track with whatever the plantation's doing. So if Michael wanted to speak on the plantation, you could comfortably say that it's probably somewhere in the same general vicinity.
Well, yeah, and I was just anecdotally, I had guests in town on a Monday night and assumed we could get dinner at Plantation, and you were slammed. You couldn't even get in, had to go to Waterfront Social. So I guess business is good, but, you know, how is it?
Good.
Real good.
Succinct.
And going to stay good, or?
We're going to finish this meeting by 10.
Say more about that.
No, we actually, if you want a full disclosure scenario, June, July, I would have worried about the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And then within the 90 days coming into the fourth quarter, we picked up significantly and exceeded what we expected on the top line. Still having some challenges in the middle, with costs and the freight stuff. First quarter, we're going aggressive again, and pacing behind a little bit in January, being a little bit ahead in February, about even with March. Although my salespeople tell me they got some stuff in the pipes for motor coach tours.
Wow.
That we don't turn them in our vernacular early because you just never know until 30 days out whether they pick up or not. So we don't want to. So the first quarter should probably shape up a little bit. Rest of the year right now for the year, give you full disclosure, we're pacing a couple points ahead of last year at this point.
Which was a record year.
6 months ago, I would have been very dubious about 2023, but I'm a little more hopeful now.
Wow, awesome.
But that could change on a
Yeah,
dime.
it's still good.
Mike?
It's pretty much the same way across the industry. I think everywhere countrywide since, COVID last year was a record year for everybody. And so we're still trying to topple last year's numbers, which were above and beyond epic, yes. And we're still doing that. And industry-wide pretty much is. Of course, it's leveled off back closer to what it was in, say, 21. Because you just, get out of that peak. Because we got out of COVID, if you will. So it's still the same way pretty much everywhere. We're comparing to last year when we should be comparing to the year before. Just like we do here. Because you can only get that one flyer in there that's going to be hard to stay up with. And so far, it's holding out well.
Yeah, 2019 was the last normal year that we could really compare to.
Yeah, right.
So,
but even this year is still doing better than last year. Business-wise, it's good.
Awesome. Dr. Desai?
Same as Michael says. No change.
Yeah.
Any updates on the new hotel?
Well, we are a
Thank you
couple
for
of months
asking.
behind because of the supply chain problem.
Oh.
I think you people visited it. It's more or less done, but another 2 months.
Okay, 2 months. Awesome.
Mike?
Yeah, kind of similar. I'm like between John and Mike and Michael and Mike. My crystal ball sucks at the moment. Yeah, and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And every time I think it's lagging, I turn around and it's popped. And we were always last minute stuff. That's continuing, but we actually have more stuff booked out for Thanksgiving and Christmas week than we've ever had before.
Oh boy, then it should be really busy then.
Well, we popped our prices last year. We upped them again for this December, and it's not slowing down. This is where some others have not price fixing, but have said if we double our prices, we can run half the number of people and have less cost. So compared to when I got here in 2014. I'm running less than half the people, but I'm literally at twice the price, and my revenue is 50% higher than what it was. But I'm running way above 19 as well. Separate note: FWC has come by a few weekends now. Volunteer, well, maybe they're employees, but not law enforcement. And they're doing surveys at the boat ramp of fishermen coming in. How long were you out? What'd you catch? Voluntary surveys, not nothing law enforcement wise. And this is the first time I've had them at my ramp, so they're spreading out a little bit to get a better feel for how people are using the waterway.
It doesn't surprise me. Anytime you have limited capacity, you have to go up in price if you're getting overwhelmed, and that brings everything back into a balance. So, part of my travels and up and down looking for food last night after the governor's thing was with Shonda Burdett, who would like me to speak about the Dragon Boat Festival.
Oh, okay.
So she said that they blew out every hotel room they could find. They had to put some in Ocala and Denellen, outside of our county. So please get your hotel open. Just saying. And they had one of the coolest things. Have you picked up on this on social? That the teams, like 5 of the teams, came over with their boats. They took the dragon heads off, but they went paddling with the manatees. And they are all over social. Crazy cool pictures. So they came over on Sunday. So they stayed the whole weekend, and their friends and family and everything. And they were absolutely charmed by our floaty potatoes. And so that's something that we need to pick up on, I would think, in social and make some hay out of that, because that was pretty cool. And they just keep blowing the doors off. Are they the largest in the North America? Yep.
Yes.
Largest in North America. So anyway, I got to get a boat next year. All right, open to the public. Unless there's anything else? No?
No.
Bud, come on up.
Right here. Too far apart, too. You had mentioned being raised on Crystal River. I had the opportunity a number of years ago to be a judge at the county science fair for the high school and middle school. There was a student who did a project based on the salinity in Crystal River, where the salt water's coming in. Barnacles don't grow without salt water. Barnacles are growing at the headwaters of Crystal River, which is not good. Those of you that boat know
Now?
recently.
Okay.
Those of you that know the vegetation that has not survived some of this salt intrusion. We've got to think of where the water comes from out of these springs. Comes from the lakes, goes from the lakes into the aquifer, comes across Crystal River, comes up in the river. Homosassa, Wikiwachi, Chaz, all of them. If we don't clean these lakes, it's not going to keep going the way it should. And if we get this cleaned out, everybody's going to survive from this. And it's a very simple principle, and we want to see it work. That's all. Thank you.
Before you go, I have a question. So I completely understand how it moves, but what does salinity have to do with that, with the
It
lakes?
just makes you aware. If we had more fresh water,
Cuts down on the salinity.
it would push that Gulf water back. But since it's empty, Gulf water wants to come in.
Right.
And
But I mean, the spring flow, last I was in Three Sisters, and again, I've been in and out of Three Sisters since I was 11 years old. And I had literally, it's not that I'm in there that often anymore as an adult, but I had literally not ever seen the level of spring flow in all my years of going, because I'm like, what's wrong with the spring? Because it had this huge cloud, and then I finally realized it was just pushing so much water out that it was a big sand cloud. And I mean, it was just kind of crazy that I'd never seen that before, but I think it was during our big rains last year that I saw that.
last year was so much water. Yeah.
And Save Crystal River has uncovered 110 new spring vents there.
Yes.
Throughout Kings Bay, so that'll help drastically as well.
That diversifies the flow. It doesn't increase the flow.
That's fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anything we can do, it's just like a giant filtration system. Anything we can do to clean all the parts of the filtration system would really help all of us.
Part of what got us started is Tallahassee has realized that the water supply for this area might be going away to the boys across the interstate. They talked of making a reservoir like Tampa has north of here. And they talked of $400 million just to get it going. Tampa had a lot of problems. This has the potential problems. If we clean these lakes up, in that 23-acre spot, we can clean enough out of there to equal what that reservoir would hold.
Has everybody heard that before? Because that was one of the most spectacular portions of what captured my attention was not just the increased fisheries for spawn and whatnot, increased cleanliness, more depth for boating, but also a very practical aspect of reservoirs.
That's why we got the money.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're going to save $400 million on building a reservoir. That's what, in Tallahassee, that's what resonates.
Good.
Where is that 23 acres located?
Not far from Gospel Island, where Too Far has their headquarters by the old clubhouse. It's not far from there.
Okay, I was just curious because I know the city is working on getting the beach put together there at Wallace Brooks, and if it would be a cleaner area over there.
It's all every bit of it's gonna help. You got a glass of water full of something, you keep pouring enough water in it, you'll flush it out. So, I'll be back later. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. All right. Anything further? We are adjourned.